Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at comed.com/clean.
Clean.
Did you get that? /clean.
/clean. I might forget later in the show.
I don't want to hear about that later. Anywho, welcome in. I'm Greg Boyson with Mario Tirabassi.
Hello.
Our pal Jay Zawoski is taking a bye week as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Gallivanting in the land of Mickey and Minnie and all those peoples.
Yeah, the Disney World or land?
World.
World is in Florida, right?
Yes.
Always confused the two.
He's in America's wing right now.
He sure is. Sure is.
So hopefully Jay's having a good time today. We're going to do Mailbag Monday because why not? There's no games to talk about. And it's a Monday, and we like it when...
Have we had a non-practice, non-game Monday in a...
It's been a long time.
It's been a very long time.
It's been a while, that's for sure. I like it.
I like being here in the afternoon.
I do too. It's nice. It's nice to see other people.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy
sometimes
you
we get
and Steven and Jay, but sometimes other faces are nice.
Yeah. Getting here and leaving when it's not 1 a.m. is nice.
That's good too. Being home at 5 o'clock tonight will be nice.
Yeah.
We'll be at 3 o'clock all week this week, just so you guys know. 3 o'clock all week. Tomorrow, Tuesday, we're going to have our pal Joe Brand from WGN host a pre and post on the Blackhawks radio broadcast. He's going to be joining us in studio so we can kind of recap the first half of the season and look ahead to the second half with Joe. Wednesday, we're going to have Pete and or DJ from the What Chaos show. At least one of them, maybe both of them. And we'll talk what's going on around the NHL, and then I have a feeling
they head to the All-Star game on Thursday, so that'll be fun. What Chaos at the All-Star game in Toronto? Yeah, we'll chat with them about that and all other things.
What kind of fun things they got planned for the All-Star weekend? And
maybe they might even talk to Tate McRae.
If I was Tate McRae's manager, I'd keep her away from those guys. But then, we'll probably... I got a feeling we're going to have extra questions that we're going to get to Wednesday, second half of the show.
I do some
Thursday,
leftovers.
Mario and I are going to do like a rebuild report, the show. We're going to do all prospect updates, get you updated there. And then Friday we'll know what the All-Star teams are. We'll be drafted on Thursday night, so we'll probably do an All-Star weekend preview, talk about the teams and the
skills night is Friday night. Yeah, so maybe we'll pick our skills winners.
There you go. Who's your skill hawk guy?
Charlie the Bacon guy is a good question that I'm also wondering. Have we heard anything about? Is Nick Foligno
no
coming?
update yet.
Okay. We have not heard, but obviously if Nick Foligno wants to come on, we will bump whatever we're going to do that day, and he'll be in here, or maybe
if that is confirmed, we will definitely make that public.
He will be. We can have him in with the What Chaos guys. They have a relationship.
They liked him.
Yeah. So if Nick can come in this week, he's obviously we'll make room for him.
Yeah.
But we're going to get our Mailbag Monday started off with and as always, we're going to start with our Die Hard questions from the Die Hard Discord server. And if you want to get first choice, you want to get top priority on any Mailbag show, make sure you're becoming a Die Hard member over at ALLCITY.com. You're going to get access to that Discord server. You're going to get top priority for your Mailbag questions. Mario and I are going to jump on the chat channel right after the show, do a little overtime.
Yeah.
We'll carry over give you guys a bonus 10 or 15 minutes of Hawks questions right after the show ends. You're also going to get discounts on all of our merchandise. 1 free t-shirt or hat when you sign up, plus discounts to all of our events. And keep your eyes peeled. There's going to be some event stuff coming in the near future, Blackhawk related, you want to know. And we'll give a shout out to some of our new diehards. I know recently Angie became a diehard and chose the Blackhawks shirt for her. I know she's a big Hawks fan and White Sox fan, but she chose correctly and went with the Blackhawks shirt.
The team with the future.
So welcome aboard, Angie. Also, we've got Jefferson, Matt, Joe, Colin, Mark from the Smoke Staff Barbecue, and Vladimir, a huge Bears fan all the way from Serbia. We now have a diehard fan in Serbia. That's awesome.
That makes sense that they like the Bears. Sure. Lots of Bears in Serbia.
Yeah. Hopefully they win more. The Serbian Bears win more than the Chicago Bears. So, Vladimir, hopefully we can get you to become a hockey fan. There's a lot of Vladimirs who play hockey. So
that's true. Yeah.
Let's see if you like it. So let's just jump right into it, Steven. We're going to go right to the Discord.
Our first question coming from Brad Beatty. With Slager stating he's signing at the end of the season, will we see him at Rockford in Chicago? Where do you see him next season?
Well, I think he's going to let that determine. Kyle Davidson said, I don't know if you saw the article Ben Pope did.
Yeah.
We gave him some inside tips on how to get a hold of Mr. Slager.
Yeah.
But Kyle Davidson said that he feels that Landon is the most NHL ready of the Blackhawks prospects. So I wouldn't be surprised if he slots right into the NHL lineup at the end of this season for the last handful of games, and then next season just let it all play out. Let him get through training camp, and I think some time in Rockford wouldn't hurt.
No, it wouldn't hurt.
But if he's ready, and he's one of the best 13, 14 forwards coming out of training camp next season, then he deserves to be here.
Yeah, I think we've seen that the path for development for a lot of these guys is a patient one, and it's a more conservative one. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if once Notre Dame's season ends this year, Slager will sign his ELC with the Blackhawks. And then, I think he'll get some time in Chicago and then probably head to Rockford this year to finish out the season with them. Hopefully get into some playoff games. And then, if he'll be 22 at the start of next season. He's a guy that, if you read the article from Ben Pope in the Sun-Times, quoted assistant GM Mark Eaton saying that he's got all the qualities that you want in a successful third line forward, which is great. But he also has shown that he has those first line capabilities in him, and you've seen that at Notre Dame this year. He's set his career high in goal scoring this season. He's on just about a point per game pace, 25 points in 26 games. Sure, doing it as a fourth-year college player, you'd hope to see that out of a guy like that. But, for Slager last year, he was hurt a lot. It definitely hindered him last season, but he's been healthy this year. He's been scoring a lot of goals around the net, which is great to see. And he's not the biggest of players, but he definitely reminds me a lot of a kind of a Brandon Hagel type of guy, where it's a high-energy guy who's going to use his skating ability and his speed to put him into good situations, and his tenacity is going to give him a lot of opportunities. So if he ends up being a Hagel-esque player, we saw Brandon Hagel come in, and his initial thought was, maybe he tops out as a third liner, and lo and behold, he becomes a really productive NHL player, both here in Chicago and developed more into Tampa Bay. So if Slager's on that kind of path, that would be wonderful. I'm not going to say that it's exactly going to be like Brandon Hagel was, but I would love to see him. If he's here next year in Chicago, I wouldn't be surprised. And I think that would be really interesting, because that's another guy that kind of like immediately slots in that you're like, oh, here's a potential part of the future. Like next few years, we're not going to see a lot of that yet, but it's part of that like slow trickle in of the young guys as we go through the next 2 years.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that's not afraid to play in between the dots. You need more of that.
Mm-hmm. Go to the front of the net.
Yeah, I think he is going to be what the previous regime were hoping Josiah Slavin was going to be.
Yeah.
Third, fourth line guy that plays
some penalty kill.
Yeah.
Play hard, yeah.
Plays good in his own zone, PK. Kind of like possibly a slightly more talented Boris Kachuk type player, someone like that.
Okay.
That can actually finish a breakaway.
Yeah. I'll take it.
All right, moving right along, Steven. Fire away.
This one from Charlie the Bacon Guy. Will the NHL ever go back to the old playoff system of 1 through 8 for each conference?
I hope so.
I hope so. I don't think so.
Because that was my favorite. The 1 through 8 reseeding in the second round, it made getting that number 1 seed,
more important.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to play the lowest seed in each of the first 2 rounds, and made your path to the conference final as easy as possible. It's never easy, but it gave you the easiest path. I personally hate the divisional setup.
Yeah.
I thought it was a bad idea from day one. When we want to start rivalries. But instead,
too many really good matchups
right,
in the second round.
All those years we got Sidney Crosby versus Alex Ovechkin when those 2 teams were at the top of their games in the second round as opposed to an Eastern Conference final where it would have been so much better. Or, Boston-Toronto, Boston-Tampa, Toronto-Tampa in first round games as opposed to later. With the divisional round setup, you've got a chance to lose 2 of your best teams in the first round.
Yeah.
And it's just, they could still lose in the 1-8 format, but I just think the 1-8 format is the better format. And will they do it? My guess is people like it, so no.
Right, yeah. With the NHL, once Gary Bettman comes out and says, we really think that this thing is working, that most people say, you should probably change that, they're going to dig in their heels and they're going to say, no, it's working, it's great.
But they said they did it that way specifically to get the division rivalries going. But what rivalries can you say are like, oh my God, what a great rivalry that's become because of all the times they've played in the playoffs? There's not many I could think of.
Not many.
You could argue maybe like Blackhawks Wild there for a little while, but it's not a rivalry.
The Wild never,
the
Wild never won. Yeah.
So maybe the Predators Blackhawks became that way because they fought. We've played 3 times. They won once. We won twice.
Blackhawks and Canucks was good for a 3-4 year stretch.
But that was in the 1-8 format.
Yeah, that's true.
Those series never would have happened in this format.
Well, there you go.
So.
Yeah,
another reason to keep it.
I think the change and the aspect of reseeding after the second round is that it's a little more intrigue. The matchups aren't set in stone of here's your path to the Cup final. It could change.
Right.
So
and then it kind of really makes for the Cinderella teams to really hammer that home. If you beat the number 1 seed in the first round, then you got to play the number 2 seed, and that could really lead to some cool stories. But why do you want fun stuff?
I don't know. This is hockey after all. Steven?
Next one from Nate. What, if any, changes would you guys make to the overtime period?
Make it longer.
I would have no clock. You play till someone scores.
Well, you got to have a clock if you can't just play an hour straight.
What are the chances of 3-on-3 lasting longer than 20 minutes? Very slim.
Because
if they're actually playing, that will get rid of all this skating around waiting for the shootout nonsense. Just play 10-minute periods until someone wins.
I would have some sort of backcourt violation.
I would just get rid of it. You play till someone scores.
Yeah.
If you don't want to play for 40 minutes, score a freaking goal. It's 3-on-3.
Yeah. If you made it, even if you made it a 10-minute 3-on-3, how many times are they reaching 10 minutes? Very infrequent.
The only thing is that way you'd still get some of that nonsense. After like the 8-minute mark, you'll still get some of that stuff.
And you'd have a lot of people with very tired legs, just being like, I just need a breather. I'm gonna pass it back to my goalie.
So end it either get rid of the if you skate it over the red line with possession.
Yeah, if you purposely pull it back.
Blow the whistle, and the other team gets to pick it up at center ice and go.
Yeah, sure.
Or you drop the puck wherever it is, and then the other team gets it from there.
Yeah. Start
a rush.
Start it from behind your net and go. Yeah, I think that would definitely keep the intensity up in overtime, which obviously is the best kind of overtime hockey is when it's just, continuously moving, especially in 3-on-3. When you get the back and forth, that is not only exciting, but also the best percentage chance of getting a winner.
Yeah.
So
maybe
I think those would be good rules.
Dr. Horsershow has a good idea. Cut the ice. Have the Zamboni come out for that. That's going to take some time.
It'd be get an extra commercial break.
But if you get 2 Zambonis out there.
Get 3 Zambonis out there.
There you go. All the Zambonis.
Zamboni races. That's how I would do the overtime. All right, what's next?
Our sales guy, Jim, wants 2 pucks on the ice at the same time during overtime.
That would just get really confusing.
All hell breaks loose.
I would just
no goalies. That's how you. That's
there
how
you go. Yeah, you play posts.
You play 10 on 10, no goalies.
Oh, that'll end real fast.
And nobody can get in the crease.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right, next one coming from Windy City Hockey. If you were the commissioner for a week of the NHL, what would be 2 changes you'll bring to the league?
I would first make myself commissioner for life. No,
and give myself 3 more wishes.
I would make regulation wins worth 3 points.
Yeah.
And I would get rid of the instigator penalty.
Okay. Yeah, I like the 3-point system. I know that's been thrown around there a lot. The PWHL they adapted that, so that's to see a example of that in action in hockey. There you go, right there. Yeah, I agree. I would do the 3-point system.
Either 3 points for a regulation win or just get rid of the loser point altogether.
Yeah,
one of the two. But the loser points keep teams in the playoff hunt. You look at the standings parity this year. Yeah, you look at so now you only have like 2 teams that are going to trade at deadline. But
yeah,
whatever.
I would do 3 points for a win, 2 for an OT win, 1 for a shootout win, and any loss you don't get any points.
Right.
That's what I would do. Other than that, I would the rule change I would make would be if you score shorthanded on a penalty kill, that ends the penalty.
Yeah.
I would also, within the same rule, you can score as many times as you want on a power play. You get the full 2 minutes or 4 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever it is. You already get the 5 minutes on a major, but all penalties would be that way.
It used to be that way.
Yeah,
up until
I would keep it up.
I don't know, 50s or 60s. It used to be that way. One other thing that I would do, I know I said only 2, but I'm the commissioner. I can get as many rules as I want. I would get rid of review except for if a goal goes over the line or not. Nothing else.
Oh, okay. So no offsides.
No
review,
offsides, no goalie, no high stick.
interference.
Make the call on the ice and stick with it.
Okay.
Put the pressure on the refs. Yeah, they're going to get some wrong, but these offside reviews, these goalie interference reviews, they take too long. So the only things you can review are actual goals, if it goes over the line or not.
Okay. I would go the opposite. I want everything reviewable.
Well,
make the game as slow and accurate as possible.
No, screw that.
No, I actually wouldn't do that. I think there's a lot of things that the league could do to make it more interesting. But as we've seen over the many years of Gary Bettman, there's not too many changes that happen to make the game interesting.
No.
I thought we came up with a really good one. We were with our friends at the Barn Hockey Bar this past Thursday. We're on penalty shots. If the shot is missed, play just continues, and you have a chance to get a rebound and score.
I believe that was Mario's
idea.
Like in soccer.
A penalty shot is
like
in
soccer
soccer.
Style.
Yeah, you pick it up from the red line. As soon as the player crosses the blue line, play it like a live puck. So everyone lines up at the red line. Player picks up the puck at the red line. Once they go past the blue line, everyone can jump into the play. It's still a one-on-one with the player and the goalie, but if the player scores, goal as normal. If the goalie stops it, you can play your rebound, and then the puck is live, and you pick up play from there. I think that would be
puck is live the second it's shot.
Fantastic chaos. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be great.
It would also be super dangerous. But
I like the organized chaos idea, though.
Yeah, I like it.
As soon as the puck comes off the shooter stick, it's live.
Yeah.
Play starts. The clock runs, and away you go.
Yep.
I like that.
All right, what's next?
Next one from Luke, who's, I believe he's a diehard.
Yes, he's one of our newer diehards.
Yeah, that's right. He just signed up. He said, let's say hypothetically, say you had to be the emergency goalie for the Blackhawks for one period, because hypothetically Mrazek got concussed in the first period, and Soderblom got trampled on for coming too far out of his crease in the second.
that I can believe.
Say the Hawks were facing the Sharks. Just the Sharks. How would you do? How many shots out of, let's say, 10 would you save?
Zero. unless they shot it directly like off my face and it didn't go in the net, I'm stopping 0 pucks.
The over-under will be 0.5 saves.
Yeah.
Because I'm not, unless they shoot it right at me. But I'm going to give up a rebound, and somebody will be there to put it in.
Sure. Well, that still counts as one shot saved.
Right.
But
so yes, I over/under saves made 0.5.
Yeah, I'm not like an uncontested shot, even like just a floater from like the blue line. I'm gonna still struggle with because I just don't have that coordination.
And I don't want to get hit by a 100-mile-per-hour
Yeah,
puck.
no.
I want to get out of its way.
I don't want to get hit by like a 50-mile-per-hour shot.
I'm not a psychopath. I don't like getting hurt.
Yeah, being a goalie takes a completely different mindset. Even when you have all the pads and all that, it's still like the point is players are shooting pucks as hard as possible at what is behind you, and you are the last line of defense at stopping that. And I mean that's just a mentality that I don't think I would have. I like being able to skate up and down the ice and have control or not control of the puck, and I don't want it shot at me on purpose.
No,
that's just that's just me.
That's not fun.
Yeah,
at all. Well,
I will say I did. I don't know why I did it, but I blocked a slap shot in my men's league game last night, and I need to stop doing that because I've done that now 3 times, and each time I have done that, I have ended up with a bruise the size of like 2 fists on my legs, because it always catches you. It never catches you right in the most padded spot on your thigh or off your shin. Whenever you purposely go to block a shot in a game that doesn't matter, it always hits you somewhere where there's no pads. And this one got me right in the tender spots of the padding. And the last time it happened, I posted a picture of it on Facebook. That's how long it was ago. But it was like, right on the inside of my knee. I can't post a picture of it where it hit me this time because I would get flagged on Facebook or on Twitter.
Not good.
But I will just say it's
walking a little ginger.
Yeah, sitting in this chair, it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, you don't need to do that anymore. You're not making $1 million.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was driving home and I was like, that really hurt, and I did it for no money. I don't know why I did that.
Did you win the game?
No.
Well, then you totally didn't.
I blocked
if you won by 1 goal, that it would be worth.
I blocked the shot on a penalty kill, and like 30 seconds later, we couldn't clear it out of the zone, and they scored. I was very upset. I did get an assist though in the game, so not to pat myself on the back.
You got to start yelling at your teammates. Be like, look what I'm sacrificing here.
I should. A couple of my teammates are fans of the show, so I don't want to yell at them too much.
Yeah, well, they'll get used to it.
I don't want to lose any listeners.
They'll feel like they work here. Speaking of over-unders, we were talking over-unders on saves we would make against the Sharks. Well, if you like betting over-unders, then I recommend you use the Circa Sportsbook.
Yes. Because
they have their tight money lines and their low hold model, which fans love. Games will strive to be at a -110 split on the Circa Sports menu. Unlike other sports books, we may use -115 or -120 splits. What does that mean in layman's terms? It means more money for you to win. You're going to get better odds, which means more money when you hit it big. They have high app limits. Circa Sports does not limit players based on their winnings. Every player has the same limits, unlike other sports books who do limit winning players. I never have that problem, but maybe you do. We encourage bettors to download and explore all the other sporting apps available, compare the lines from each sports book, and you're going to find out that Circa and CHGO, winning combination, Circa is going to have the best odds available. There are real people behind the Circa Sports brand who resolve issues in a timely fashion, unlike those other books who use the dreaded chatbots. All aspects of the app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas. So download the Circa Sports Illinois app at circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER, text GAMB to 833-234, or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
I hear there's a big football game coming up.
Is there?
There'll be a lot of wagering done.
The Lions are in it, right? They had a huge lead when I turned off that game. Right? Good for them.
I'm
First
glad,
ever Super Bowl.
I'm glad you're sitting down because they did not win that game.
More like Detroit chokes, right? Am
Detroit,
I right?
they sure do. They sure did.
That was bad.
That's all right. Hey, are you looking to get in shape? Looking to get your body and your mind right? Well, you should do it at the Midtown Athletic Club here in Chicago and the surrounding suburbs. The Midtown Athletic Club, they have all the amenities for you to get yourself into the right mindset and the right body set for the new year coming up. They got 4 Chicagoland locations in Palatine, Bannockburn, Willowbrook, and right here in the city, the Midtown Athletic Club and Hotel. And at those 3 locations in the suburbs, Palatine, Bannockburn, and Willowbrook, through the month of January, which is ending soon. Midtown is offering no initiation fees at those 3 locations. So if that is your local location, one of those 3, and you've been thinking about, getting into the gym game, getting into the athletic club game, do it with Midtown, and you're going to avoid those initiation fees if you act now, and you're going to take advantage of all their awesome amenities. Tremendous locker rooms, wet and dry saunas, indoor and outdoor pools and hot tubs. They got a boutique at the Bannockburn one. That's the one that I was able to go to, where you can, say you show up to go work out, and you're like, shoot, forgot my gym shorts. Well, you can go right in there and get some very nice gym shorts. So it's perfect quality right there. Very accessible. They got high standard kitchens, good food there. I hear the fried chicken sandwich is a favorite there. So if you're doing your boxing training, you can punch the heavy bag for a little bit, have a chicken sandwich, go in the sauna, sweat the chicken sandwich out, and that's a pretty good day at the gym. And if you love tennis, the Midtown Athletic Club is the place to be. They have indoor and outdoor tennis courts, courts for paddle, tennis, and pickleball as well, and everything is USTA professional quality. So head over to midtown.com/CHGO, and you can find out more about the Midtown Athletic Club location nearest to you and schedule your tour.
All righty. Before we get to our Twitter questions, those were all of our diehard questions, right, Stephen?
Yeah, that was all of them.
All right. Before we head over to our questions from the Twitter sphere, it will always be Twitter to me.
Twitter.
We have, over 120 people watching and only 38 likes. That math doesn't compute. So hit that like button for us, please. That helps us out a lot. Smash the like button, tap it, hit it.
And
make it glow, whatever you do.
Make it glow. Smash the like button, subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube page, and on your favorite listening devices. If you're a podcast listener, subscribe to the CHGO Blackhawks podcast on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or what are some of the other ones? Podomatic, Stitcher, I believe is still a thing. Wherever you listen to your podcast, subscribe, and you're gonna get all the latest episodes right to your phone or streaming device, computer, whatever you listen to. And when you do that, leave us a 5-star review. Helps us out, and we like to hear about what we're doing right.
Right. None of the bad stuff, though.
None of the bad
Keep
stuff.
That to yourself. No. We don't care.
All right, Steven, what's next?
This one from Colin Powers. Hey, guys, here's
Austin's
a question
kid.
for the next – yeah, that's him. For the next mailbag. If Reichel's sophomore slump is more than just a temporary problem, then can you see any GM taking a flyer on him like we did when we acquired Borgstrom from Florida?
First, I truly don't think Kyle Davidson is looking to move Lukas Reichel. But, let's say if we're talking hypotheticals about being goalies, let's say a hypothetical about Reichel is they bring him back on a 1-year deal. And if this continues, what he's been doing so far this season continues not only this year but into next year, I think at that point you're looking to say you cut your losses. Because at that point, you have, we were talking about Landon Slager, you have guys that are going to be in the system that are going to be on the verge of being NHL ready that, Reichel, you hope can still be one of those guys. But if he proves himself not to be, you got to move on from that. And he's a former first-round pick, still very young, 21, 22 years old. There's still some value there, but I think, as we've seen before, Kyle Davidson doesn't have to be loyal to he shall not be named former draft picks and players that he committed to. So I don't know. I think 31 other NHL teams, out of 31 other NHL teams, I'm sure some of them look at Lukas Reichel and say, there's something still there.
Yeah, I think it's far too early in his career and far too early in this rebuild and making declarations that this guy just isn't going to work here.
Sure.
So your next season is not about wins and losses again. It's about continuing the development. So if we don't see him pull the nose up before the end of this season, you still have next season to figure things out. Sign him that 1-year, prove a deal.
Yeah.
Also, trading him now or even this offseason, if he doesn't break out of this funk and carries it through the whole season, his trade value has never been lower. Why would you trade him now?
Sure.
You don't trade a guy at the lowest value because you're basically giving him away for nothing. If you don't think he's part of the long-term future, still bring him back for that 1 year next year. Hopefully that's the year he breaks out. Then you can move him where you're actually going to get something for him. Because what are you really going to get for Lukas Reichel right now? I know we said a lot. We saw no way Kirby Dach would get
first-round pick.
But he did. But he also was a 6'5" center, third pick overall who actually had some fairly decent production at the NHL level.
And when he got traded, he had twice as many NHL games played.
Right.
So there was more tape on him.
Yeah, he was further along. And so, yeah, I don't think, now's the time to do it. There's no reason to. They're not in any position to be like, well, Lukas Reichel stinks. It's over. Let's tear it down. Like, you've got time to allow him to figure it out at the NHL level.
And to your point, I think you're not going to sell low because you're not going to get much for him, and you don't want to give up on him this early. And if you're not selling low, that means he's probably rebounded to some extent.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's reason to keep him and think maybe he's going to continue that production.
Yeah, if his play rebounds and starts going into the direction that a lot of people and the organization hoped that it would, that's only good for the Blackhawks. So would you rather have Lukas Reichel, who's come around and turned a corner and is going in the right direction, or would you rather have him do that and then trade him for, here's a lottery ticket of a second-round pick or something like that? I think you have more value in a guy who's in his early 20s that has turned a corner and is back on his development path.
Right. Yeah, it's not like they're depending on Lukas Reichel, put up 50 points to be a Stanley Cup contender where you're like, well, we need someone in here that produces.
Right.
You're not at that point right now. So hang on to it for a while. Obviously, if someone gives you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. If someone says, we'll give you a mid-first round pick and a third-round pick like they did for Kirby Dach, you say, okay,
you probably
sure.
take it, but that's not happening. That deal's not coming down the pipe anytime soon.
No. Benjamin, jumping in the chat here, says, pour one soda out for CM Punk.
Did he get hurt again?
We were talking about it briefly before the show started, but Greg, you were able to catch up on the Royal Rumble. Thoughts? I know Jay and I were watching it live here on Saturday night. We didn't want to spoil it for you.
The pay-per-view peaked with the women's match,
which was first.
The women's Rumble was much better than the men's.
It was.
Told a better story, had better. The men's was just kind of boring, and you kind of knew what was going to happen. And man, CM Punk, I've been a fan of his for a long time, but that man did no cardio during his time away.
No.
He was out of gas early, and the rumors are he got hurt again during the match. So might be time just to be doing ads for the Blackhawks at this point.
Yeah, I mean,
if you're not punching people in your own locker room, you're getting hurt. So I don't know what kind of value you're bringing. Benjamin says a torn tricep. So yeah, like maybe
sucks.
I think your body's telling you, make cool videos for the Blackhawks.
He's pushing 50.
Yeah, he's getting there.
He's getting up there.
He's like my age at least. Yeah, he's there. So sucks. I've always liked CM Punk. I think as a human being, he's a good dude for the most part. I think he's got some anger and ego issues that get him in trouble. But I love watching him wrestle. I love listening to him talk. But I think that ship might have sailed.
He's getting pretty ouchy in his career.
Yeah, that's not a good thing,
as we say sometimes. Yeah, I enjoyed the Women's Rumble match. I think, like you said, like the storytelling was a lot better, and the men's match, it was just like very straightforward. You knew which guys were going to be there and which weren't. I appreciated the guys that were in the Final Four. I think they set up some pretty good matches there, but I mean, you knew Cody and Roman was going to be
the women's match when
the result.
When contestants would come down, for like a lot of them, like up to like half of them, maybe even more, you were like, well, she has a legit chance to win.
Right,
I can see her winning this. Mm-hmm. Like 27 of the 30 guys in the men, you were like, yeah, this guy's just out here to take up 5 minutes and get thrown over the top rope.
And what I was very underwhelmed by and disappointed by was like the fact that they're like the Rumble's always good for at least one return.
Didn't have any of that.
Or
you had Andrade come back, but with the internet,
nice.
You know what's coming.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. The internet did tell me that the end of the Rumble was going to hit like crack to paraphrase the one of those wrestling aggregator Twitter accounts. If crack hits like that, I don't know how people get addicted to it because that was lame.
Yeah,
thank you, Steven.
and Pat McAfee screaming at me for 4 hours. No thanks. Let's not do that again.
Yeah. Did you see the story that he didn't know he was supposed to be in the Rumble?
Allegedly didn't know that he was going to be in it.
He's like, oh, I guess I'm in the Rumble, and then like eliminates himself.
Well, that was a smart move.
It was.
I wouldn't mind seeing
if
him
you're not prepared to wrestle, don't hop in there.
I wouldn't mind seeing him get thrown into like the 4th row by a couple of those guys, but oh well. Yeah. All right, back to hockey. This
has been Wrestle Talk.
Yes.
This one from Neil Andrew. Could you see the Blackhawks trading a player like Conor Murphy to a team needing defense at the trade deadline or taking on a contract for a first-round pick?
Well, Murphy needs to get healthy first, but I think the team is going to keep Conor Murphy around because, as we've seen the extensions of Mrazek and Foligno and Dickinson, they're 2-year extensions, and that, coincidentally, is how much time Conor Murphy has left on his contract after this season. You could do a lot worse than Conor Murphy defensively, and I think for what he does provide on the ice and off the ice, I think he's a guy that is going to be around the organization. I don't think they're looking to get rid of him. So yeah, I don't think Murphy is a guy that they're going to end up moving, and I don't think a lot of teams are looking to take on at the deadline, looking to take on players that have term beyond a year or two.
Right.
So
and if they are,
I think
looking at guys who are like 26, 27
right,
that have
younger
term,
than him,
in their 30s,
more healthy. Yeah, so I think Murphy's sticking around. If the Blackhawks take on a bad contract, if it's worth it, I'm not going to be mad. But they're not in a position where they have to, because even though they have the cap space that they could do it, you don't have to do it because you have a lot of guys that are injured that are going to come back. So, for a short term something, who knows? But I think this year's trade deadline is going to be a lot quieter than I think we expected it would be at the beginning of the year.
For sure. Yeah. Don't expect much on our trade deadline show this year.
Yeah, it might be more. It might be more Wrestle Talk. Who knows?
Be WrestleMania talk at that point.
Yeah. Steven?
All right, this one from the Black Web Sant. When is Davidson getting fired?
I hate to break it to you.
The mouth breathers have spoken.
I threw this one in there just so that we could address the fact that
Greg needs to get angry at least one show.
I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to get angry at this. I mean, when you're clueless and don't understand what a rebuild is, then you ask stupid questions.
Yeah.
Whoever said there's no such thing as stupid questions, well, no, he's not getting fired anytime soon. This is exactly what they have been planning for. And, when some of these kids that he's been drafting get here, and if they hit their ceiling, we're not going to have to deal with any of these kind of dumb questions anymore.
No. And I think I see it a lot on the internet. I see it a lot in our chat from time to time, questioning Davidson and his GM abilities and questioning Luke Richardson and stuff. And it's a short-term mindset, which I don't blame for people, because for a long time, Blackhawks seasons were very short-term mindseted, if that's a word. And it was about immediate success. It was about contending for a Stanley Cup, and it was about, getting the job done season to season. And when that time period ended at the end of the 2017 season, basically, it had to become a more long-term fix. And with Kyle Davidson and Luke Richardson, it's a long-term vision and it's a long-term plan. And I think ownership of the Blackhawks also believes in that. Luke Richardson's not on a hot seat because there's not expectations for him to win games right now. Kyle Davidson's not on a hot seat because he's laid out a plan to rebuild the organization that takes time. And the plan was part of the plan was trying to get Connor Bedard.
The goal last season was to somehow get Connor Bedard, and he achieved that goal.
Yeah, and so and Bedard accelerates all of the rebuilding process, but it doesn't mean as soon as you get him, all planning is out the window and the expectation becomes Stanley Cup or bust this season. So, it's you got to look at it as a long-term mindset. And we've only seen a portion of what Kyle Davidson can do as a general manager so far with, trades and free agency. It's all stuff for, quote-unquote non-contending moves. Extending Nick Foligno, extending Jason Dickinson. That made sense, right? Bringing in a guy like Taylor Hall to get an opportunity that he wasn't going to get in Boston. That made sense. What we're really going to have to critique him on in the coming seasons and critique Luke Richardson is when the expectation is to not be in the lottery. What are you able to do? What big free agent are you able to sign? What big trade are you able to make? What are you going to get out of the players that are going to be here of consequence on the ice? And how are you going to configure your power play? If something's not working, what are you going to do to fix it so that you don't go on a 20-game road losing streak? When the expectations change for the team, then they're going to change for those in charge.
Absolutely. Alrighty.
Anyways.
Sorry to break it to you.
Just want to clear that up. Colin with 2 L's.
This one from Colin with 2 L's, like you said. I sent this about a week ago, but just to be sure, from what I see with Michigan probably not going to make the playoffs, do you think Nazar signs and plays the last couple of weeks of the season with the Hawks? Same way with Slager, depending on when his season ends.
Well, don't count Michigan out. They could still have a very long postseason ahead of them with the Big Ten tournament and then potentially the NCAA tournament. They're a very talented team. But same with Slager. If and when Michigan's season ends and the NHL season is still continuing, I still believe that Frank Nazar has shown this season where he's at in his development path that turning pro is a real possibility, and he could do the same. He could get 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 games with the Blackhawks, depending on time frame, and then head to Rockford and play with them as well. If Michigan goes long into the year, then that's a conversation for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately it's up to Frank Nazar. I'm sure if Frank Nazar finishes his season at Michigan and calls up Kyle Davidson and says, I want to turn pro, Kyle Davidson's going to be okay, done.
Sure, yeah.
It's ultimately up to him. Now, if Michigan gets into the NCAA tournament, makes a deep run, he'll probably miss out on a lot of that, and you'll wait till the summer to make that move. But, if they miss the NCAA tournament completely, that basically gives you about a month of the NHL season, and that might actually steer him closer to turning pro this year. Mm-hmm. Because if it was a situation where they made the Frozen Four and they were 1 game short, he might be like, I want to come back and win this one more. I want to come
potentially,
back.
Yeah.
But if they don't even make the NCAA tournament, he might be like, well, all right, that was fun. Yeah. I'm gonna go play with Connor Bedard for the rest of the year.
Right, and you look at the rest of that Michigan team too. Like Brindley's probably gone next year. Yeah, McGordy's probably gone next year. Like it's going to be another year of change for Michigan. So he might be part of that. But yeah, I think as we talk about patience with development and the rebuilding plan and everything, if Frank Nazar goes and plays another year in college,
it's not the end of the world.
It's not the end of the world. No, it's not, because you're still going to have some young guys that are of consequence that are going to be around in the forwards group. Obviously, you have Bedard. Colton Dock potentially could be, if he stays healthy the rest of this season. I know he got back from concussion protocol today, I think it was, or at least he's back skating on the ice, not in a non-contact jersey with the Ice Hogs. If he can stay healthy the rest of the year and get back to what he was doing early this season, stays healthy through the summer and training camp, he might be a guy that's due for a promotion to the NHL next year. And it doesn't all have to be, just these 4 or 5 guys of, Nazar and Oliver Moore and all.
Even if Nazar turns pro, don't be surprised if he starts the season in Rockford next year.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee he has to be in Chicago.
Yeah, there's no reason to rush these guys and stunt their growth.
No.
This one from Alex Parker. I think that's Peter's cousin. Zaitsev has been nothing but solid this year. Even Jay has come around. What's the case for not re-signing him? Also, the Hawks should have a Ring of Honor and an in-stadium Hall of Fame.
I agree, and don't be surprised if that sort of thing happens for the 100th anniversary.
Yeah.
Coming up in a couple of years. As far as Zaitsev goes, I agree. Zaitsev has been pretty good this year. It's a shame he got hurt because he was just kind of hitting his stride and basically cemented a everyday spot. I would have no issue if they brought him back on a 1-year deal, depending on here's the case you don't do it. If you feel that Ethan Del Mastro and Nolan Allen are NHL already, then all he's going to do is take away playing time for them.
Yeah.
You're going to have Seth Jones and Conor Murphy back next year. Vlasic is here. Korchinski's here. Del Mastro, Allen, Phillips, Kaiser. You have this, but if you want to bring in one more vet to be that 6th, 7th guy, then he's not a bad choice for that. But does he want to do that again?
Right.
Does he want to go someplace where he can go be that a full-time guy or go to a contending team?
He might say, I'm having a good year here, and if I go to free agency, a better opportunity will come
I can
along.
go play for a playoff team.
Yeah.
Or, but I think maybe a smarter move because it was cheaper and it's a guy you don't mind if he only plays 30 to 50 games. Bring back Jacob Megna if you need if you need another veteran to kind of round out that defensive card. That's the guy I would keep around. He's not great, but he's serviceable.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they want to bring back Zaitsev on a 1-year deal at $2.5-3 million, whatever it is, I'm fine with that. But I just don't know if he wants to continue to serve that role of, you'll play when everybody else is hurt. So
I would think if I would try to get into his mindset, I mean, he signed a big deal when he was in Toronto and was supposed to live up to it, and he basically became almost an albatross kind of player because he wasn't serviceable up to the level of his contract. That's how he ended up getting here in Chicago. But this season specifically, he's started to get back to that level of player that we had seen before. So I think for him, if I was playing well, given the opportunity, he's played on the power play here, which is something he used to do in Toronto. He plays on the right side. That's valuable in the NHL. Like if I was him, I would think that the way that he's played this year, if it was between Chicago or a team that's not going to be in the lottery, I might go to the team not being in the lottery, because if I'm in his head, I'm thinking I've earned my way back to this level of the NHL, unless Chicago's given him like $5 million, which I don't think you should. I don't think there's much incentive for him to come back if there's a better opportunity out there.
For sure. Speaking of markets, free agency markets or vehicle markets, if you're on in the market for a new vehicle, we've got some great news for you. Our partner, Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Chrem in Fox Lake is starting their Ray Resolution, or the Raysolution, with the Start Something New sales event. And you know what that means? You're going to be able to shop incredible savings on every new vehicle in stock because they want to clear the lot to make room for the brand new 2024 vehicles. For a limited time, get up to $9,000 off all new Jeep models with dealer discounts. And that's not all. Shop their last call on remaining 2023 Dodge Challenger and Charger models, including the Hellcats and the Scat Packs. Yeesh. And more. Dodge is the most powerful muscle car brand, so you don't want to miss out on their last call with over 20 Dodge muscle cars to choose from. Get your muscles at Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram. You'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and drive home with more money in your pocket than you'd expect thanks to Ray's Price Promise. Don't miss out. Shop great deals all month long and save big because Ray Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram makes buying a new vehicle more affordable than ever. And an added bonus, CHGO fans and listeners can get a free oil change when you mention CHGO at the service center, or mention CHGO when you book at line at raycdjr.com/service. But don't wait. You have to schedule before January 31st, and that is
Wednesday.
Really soon. So do it now or miss out forever. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, then you have to check out the team at Ray Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram because they are the only team we recommend. Visit them today on Route 12 in Fox Lake. For more information, head over to raycdjr.com, serving the community since 1963.
I myself took advantage of that free oil change with Ray, and it was top-notch quality. Still running on that oil that I got from Ray.
Good oil there at Ray.
Yeah, they got the good stuff.
Good stuff.
It's not that cheap stuff.
Secret stash.
It's the good stuff. Hey, you know what else is the good stuff? ComEd Energy. It is getting easier for businesses to switch to electric vehicles. That is something we can all get behind for the health of the planet and for the well-being of all of us who share it.
Oh, you better believe that. The electric grid is evolving to meet your cleaner energy needs as we all move with confidence towards an electric tomorrow. Whether you have one delivery van or, like myself, a whole fleet of shipping trucks, ComEd can help guide you to make the changes that make sense.
Well, Greg, what should business owners do?
Well, I teased it at the very beginning of the show, and now I'm going to pay it off. Go to comed.com/clean to learn more about the resources, fleet rebates, and infrastructure incentives available to help businesses go electric. If you own a business, don't wait. Start making your plan today to switch to electric vehicles. Good for business, good for the planet, good for all of us. That's comed.com/clean.
Did you say comed.com/clean?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure Stephen heard
3 darn times. Okay. So go there now or after the show and see how electric connects us all to a better way of doing business and a better future for generations to come.
It's the electric tomorrow. That's my song. What do we have next, Stephen?
This one from Jimmy. Paul Ludwinski, do you see him as a wing or a center with the Hawks?
I don't know. Way too early to tell.
Paul Ludwinski is he's playing center primarily with the Kingston Frontenacs. He's a nice player. He's a guy that I think is kind of in that tier of prospect with like Landon Slager, where he's probably going to be a bottom 6 guy at his ceiling. He's going to be an energy guy, a forechecker, penalty killer, might be able to chip in some offensive production here or there. But if he can play center, wonderful. At the NHL level, he's not the biggest guy, but he's not super small. But I think if he can play center at the NHL level, that would be great. But I think he's got that kind of game that's effective both down the middle and on the wing. So I like the way he's been playing this year. He was hurt a lot in his draft year. So when you look at his numbers, like it was like 29 points in 34 games. As a second-round pick, you're kind of like, whoa, that's kind of a reach. But it's more on those skills outside of point production that made him attractive in the second round in the 22 draft. And then you've seen it this year. He was invited to Team Canada's development camp for the World Juniors. Ultimately didn't make the team, but he was a long shot anyways. But to go from not invited to the 150-player online symposium that they had in the summer for Team Canada to being invited to the actual training camp where it's 30 guys, that's quite the improvement there. So I'm excited for him. I think he's currently injured right now. He's been out of the lineup for Kingston the last few games, but I think he's got another year in the OHL before turning pro, and I think that's fine because I think he's just now 20 years old. Or turning 20 pretty soon. So I like Paul Ludwinski. Keep him on your radar. He's going to be a good player.
Yeah. Center, wing, I don't really know. You focused more on him on the rebuild report.
He's currently playing mostly center.
But I think his speed might be better served on the wing.
Sure.
But if he can play both, that just gives you versatility and a guy that can do a little bit of everything. And that's good to have on a hockey team.
I love our chat because they have turned Nick Foligno, affectionately called Fliggy, around the NHL. Because of his broken finger, has now become
the flinger.
The flinger, like Foligno, the Foligno finger, the flinger. So
we're gonna have to tell him that.
Yeah, next time he's on.
Nick the Flinger Foligno.
we should ask him about all the nicknames that Blackhawks fans are giving him and see how comfortable he is.
Yeah, there's a couple
with some of them. But yeah, creepy. Flinger, that's new. Good job, Chad.
All right. Nicely done. We're gonna refer to him.
The Flinger.
That sounds like a T-shirt. Give him the Flinger.
Give him the Flinger. There you go. Hey, T-shirt guys, check out that idea.
That one under consideration.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, this one from Blackhawks Fanatic. Could you see the Hawks drafting Ivan Demidov? He's supposed to be top 5. He's Russian, so do you think they're worried about that factor?
As far as the Russian thing, when we asked Davidson about draft prospects, Matvei Michkov in last year's draft, it didn't sound like that was a big
No, they drafted Roman Kantsarov in the second round. Like,
right. So I don't think that they worry about that too much.
And when was the last time, we said this a lot with Michkov, and I've seen him up as high as 2 for this year's draft.
Demidov, yeah.
Demidov is that as high as 2.
Ivan Demidov, another Demidov.
I hope they draft him now just so we can make that our thing. But when was the last time a guy was taken in one of the top 5 to 10 picks in the NHL draft and never came? It doesn't happen that often.
Cutter Gauthier.
But he's not Russian, and he's going to play in the NHL.
Sure. Yeah, but yeah, specifically to those guys.
Like a Russian guy, top 10 prospect who doesn't come here at all. Like it rarely, when you're that high, you're coming.
What was that? What was the guy from the Rangers? Kratsov?
Yeah, but they traded him to
eventually,
Canucks.
and he eventually came over.
He played 2 seasons in the AHL before the Rangers finally traded him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think that's a factor. They're not too worried about that. And guys that they do worry about, those are the guys that get picked in the 6th or 7th round, where they're like, well, if he never comes, it doesn't matter, because chances are whoever we draft here isn't going to make it to the NHL.
Like Kucherov was like a 5th round pick.
Yeah, because they had no idea like he was coming. That's why Kaprizov was a 4th rounder, right?
He was a late round guy.
You know, and you look at guys like
Panarin was never
Hawks,
drafted.
Right. You look at the Hawks when they draft Ilya Safonov, who's turning into a interesting prospect, but he was a later round pick too, because they're not 100% sure that he was going to come over. So if you're going to draft a guy with the 2nd, 3rd overall pick, you're pretty confident he's coming.
Yeah,
he wouldn't be ranked that high if he had publicly said, "I don't ever want to play in the NHL."
Yeah. If a guy says that, it's like, in Russia, the KHL is big enough of a league where if you don't want to leave and don't want to go to the NHL, you can have a fine life being a really good KHL player.
You can make a lot of money out there.
And yeah, with like you said, like selecting Kantsarov, even with Ivan Demidov being the at the level of prospect that he is, it's kind of no different than like a really high CHL or NCAA guy where you might have to wait 2-3 years for them to come over. So Kantsarov, he signed a 2-year contract extension with his KHL club.
Yeah, if you drafted an 18-year-old kid that was playing in college or the OHL, you'd probably have to wait 3 years anyway.
Right. So even with Demidov, if they don't have the number 1 overall pick and they go with him, you're probably still not going to see him for a year, 2 or 3 years anyway. So if he stays in the KHL or in Russia for 2 seasons, that's fine.
Yeah, and with Kantsarov, he's playing now potentially 3 full seasons in a professional league, arguably the 2nd or 3rd best professional league in the world.
Yeah.
Before he comes there, that's better than playing juniors or in the AHL, as far as I'm concerned.
A lot of those European prospects get that extra, kind of incentive of playing like Lukas Reichel. His 2 seasons. Before coming to North America, he played professionally against men in Germany. So that was, that is what led to him transitioning to the AHL easier in his first season coming over and playing in North America. So, yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I would like to think that the Blackhawks are picking earlier than 5th. But yeah, we'll see. We can take one more. We got one more.
We got 2 more. We might as well just finish them off.
Oh, we only got 2 more and we're done?
Yeah.
Wow, all right, let's finish them off.
Why not?
This one from Gregory. Could you give a little credence to the players wanting to play in their home city? Obviously, money talks, but being close to home is an actual factor.
Nobody says that I think he's referencing our joke of our sarcasm.
You can only play for your hometown.
Of course, players would love to play for their hometown team, but like as you said, if your hometown team is a big suck wagon, you're going to probably want to go play somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, if you're born in San Jose, are you really itching to go play for the Sharks anytime soon?
Probably not.
Probably not. If you're born in Ottawa, you want to go play for the dumpster fire that's the Senators right now? No, you probably want to go play in Tampa Bay where you can win Stanley Cups, or Colorado where you can win Stanley Cups. Sure, it's a factor. It was a factor for Alex DeBrincat going to the Red Wings. It definitely is a factor to these guys, but it's not like guys are like, I have to play for the team I grew up rooting for, or else this is a waste of career. Ask Steven Stamkos. He's fine playing in Tampa his whole career, maybe.
So
he
far.
Comes here.
Till he's signed this summer. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some players opt to be closer to home, but I don't think it's as common as we refer to it in the joke of, having to play for your hometown team. Patrick Kane still hasn't played for Buffalo.
Still time.
Yet,
yeah. So, yeah, I mean, look, Alex DeBrincat going to Detroit, that was, that's a hometown thing. We knew he grew up as a Red Wings fan when he was drafted by the Blackhawks, and he was given an opportunity to play on a team that was looking to do something, contend for something. And for him, being from Michigan, playing for the Red Wings, like that's a big thing. So it does happen for sure, but it's not the only thing that will be a factor for a free agent or a player that is looking for a trade. All right, let's finish strong.
All right, last one from Sox and Seas. Is it more likely the Hawks trade players, if so who, at the deadline to acquire picks and prospects, or take on bad contracts to acquire picks and prospects?
I think your best trade piece right now is Colin Blackwell. And I don't know how much you're going to get for him.
Yeah, Blackwell, Ryan Donato, maybe.
Those
are the type of guys that a contender maybe like that's a bottom six guy. That's our 12th forward PK guy.
Yeah.
But again, what are you going to get? Third, fourth rounder, fifth rounder? Nothing crazy.
And the Blackhawks are not in a position where they need to be grasping for assets. Like, they have a ton. So
I wouldn't be surprised if the most likely scenario is they become the third-party team to facilitate a team having Stanley salary cap crunch.
Yeah.
Being like, we'll take on half of that contract of whatever player you're getting.
Half of the half.
And we'll get, a prospect or
like a 5th round pick
we'll
or
get
something
a pick
for
in
your troubles. Yeah.
That's likely what I see them doing, is they're going to be a third-party facilitator to take on cap space and get a pick or an AHL prospect type guy for that.
Yeah. Like we said before, I don't think it's going to be a very busy trade deadline for the Blackhawks.
No.
So yeah, I think if they want to do something, if an opportunity presents itself where it makes sense to help a team offload a player, offload a big contract, I'm not opposed to it. But they're not in a position where that's what they have to do to better themselves. I think Kyle Davidson is very content with where he's at right now with his prospects and his assets. And if you can add some, fine, but you don't have to go out there looking to do it.
No, he's done a very good job his first 2 seasons here stockpiling the draft picks to where he's not forced to, you don't
have to reload every year.
He doesn't have to go out. That's part of the reason why in some of these other trades, those picks have been, for 2024, 2025, keep pushing them up. Why make 12 picks in one draft when you can spread them out over 2 or 3 and, get a shot at different guys? So, yeah, I think our trade deadline show is going to be pretty, as a whole, I don't see the trade deadline at all being that crazy this year. There's just not a lot of teams.
There's not a lot of
flexibility out there.
Not a lot of flexibility, and your best chips out there are like Elvis Merce-Lincolns and Sean Monahan, and it's just kind of just like there's really nothing sexy out there.
No.
So we'll see. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be some NHL GM stupidity, but I don't think there's going to be too many fireworks at this deadline. But yeah, I think that does it for the mailbag.
That was all
Yeah,
our
that's
questions.
all.
We've emptied our sack.
I guess we get through them quicker when it's only 2 of us as opposed to 3. Yes, our sacks are empty and we need a nap.
Wonderful. But hey, if you are a diehard, jump in the Discord here in a couple minutes. Greg and I are going to hop in. We're going to do a little CHGO Blackhawks overtime. Couple minutes. We'll chat. We'll take some more questions. I know there's been a bunch of questions in the chat that we haven't really had a chance to get to. But yeah, if you're a diehard, hop in to the Discord and we'll be talking in a few minutes. If you're not a diehard, the voice channel. Yeah, it's not a text chat. We're gonna do something a little bit more fun, a little bit more personal. So yeah, if you want to become a diehard, again, allchgo.com. Get all the info on how to become a diehard. Sign up, get all the perks and all the benefits. And I know we mentioned some. We've teased some info about the upcoming events that CHGO has and that we have specifically. In our Discord, we will let the diehards know ahead of time that we will have some information on the upcoming takeover. So if you really want to become a diehard and you really want that information, go sign up now in the next few minutes, and you will get that information ahead of time, but you're not going to want to miss it. So we'll see you then, and we'll wrap this one up.
Yep, tomorrow we'll be back at 3 o'clock. Joe Brand from 720 WGN will be joining us. And just a reminder that the CHGO Blackhawks podcast is powered by ComEd. It's getting easier for your business to switch to electric vehicles. Learn more at comed.com/clean. And we will see you all again tomorrow at 3. Thanks for Steven for making the magic happen.
Yep.
And speaking of magic, hope Jay's having fun in Disney World. And we'll see you tomorrow at 3. Thanks, everybody.
We all silly like the mayor.